Well, everyone, hope you're doing well. It's alright to lose a game of football, isn't it? It's okay to lose. I'm even more okay with it because we've got European football. I know it sounds like I'm accepting defeat. I don't want to see West Ham lose, clearly. But on Sunday, there was a few people a bit angry that we lost against Brentford, and I completely understand why, by the way. I'm not saying they're wrong. They're completely correct to do that. But myself, the reason I didn't get so worked up, the reason I was fine, and while I was disappointed to lose, especially in the manner, losing a last minute goal is always a bit of a low blow, isn't it? But in regards to dropping the points, or even if we only drew the game, I was okay with that, because I'm willing to put it down to a repercussion of European football. Now that might be a bit naive of me, but I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. I know not everyone agrees, including Gonzo. I had this video planned, saw his video, and I thought I'm going to stick with my video anyway, because I do disagree that the European football isn't contributing to our defeats. Gonzo was obviously speaking about the one after the Zagreb game we lost against Manchester United, and obviously the one against the Vienna game we've gone and got beaten by Brentford. Now I don't think it's as straightforward as we don't play European football, we don't lose those games. I don't think it's as clear cut as that. But I do think European football is having an impact on our season. Now there is some evidence to suggest I'm wrong. I was speaking to someone earlier that I speak to about West Ham, and he pointed out that we played poorly against Crystal Palace and Southampton, and we didn't have European football at that point. But recently, the Brentford game in particular, I felt was the first game that I felt that the game's caught up with us. I don't mean one game. I don't mean the one game against Vienna impacted Sunday. I'm talking about the accumulation of all the other fixtures as well recently. 6 games in 22 days. Manchester United twice won the League Cup, 2 Europa League games, Leeds and Brentford. 6 games. And I think that's just bit us on the arse a little bit on Sunday. But I'm okay with it. And I think part of the reason I was okay on Sunday is because I thought we were going to struggle. I didn't think we'd win anyway. And like I said, part of that was down to Brentford. I think Brentford are a good team, and I think the time waste. I do think the time waste, but unfortunately it works. And it's pretty ironic. There's almost something very West Ham about it, isn't there? That they score their goal, they time waste for an hour. We get 3 minutes of added on at the end. We complain about it, rightly so. West Ham have momentum. They've been time wasting for ages. How is there only 3 minutes added on? Then Brentford score in the 4th minute of added on time. How does that work? Very West Ham. But anyway, let's park that to one side. So why am I okay with it? Simple. For years I wanted to see West Ham playing European football. It's years I wanted it. And I accept that as a sacrifice, you probably do drop Premier League points. I felt we did it in 2006 to get to the FA Cup final. We gave up some Premier League points in order to make sure that the FA Cup, we put out our strongest team, we got to the FA Cup final, and we almost made it work. It almost worked. It was almost genius by Alan Pardew. Now, Moyes isn't quite doing the same. Moyes is not playing his first team in the Europa League and then resting some of these big players in order to go in the Premier League, and drop points. But I do think we are taking the European football serious. We're top. 2 games, 2 wins, 6 points, 2 clean sheets. Happy days. And this is what I wanted. So I've always been prepared to accept that if we ever did get into European football, we will probably concede points in the Premier League as a result of it. And I felt that Sunday, I'm willing to give the team and the manager the benefit of the doubt and say that that was a repercussion of playing European football. Now, I don't think that's a problem. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 problems to solve, but I don't think playing in European football is one of them. But what it does do now, it gives, in my opinion, it gives David Moyes a little bit of evidence, because I feel that some players have probably played too much minutes across European football and the Premier League football, and Moyes has now got to, I feel, perhaps rotate a little bit wiser, if you like, subbing players earlier in the European football, or not playing them at all in the Premier League, or subbing them in the Premier League, or earlier in the Premier League, whatever it is. Because this is a learning curve. This is a learning curve for West Ham. It's uncharted territory for a lot of these players, and the manager to some extent. Yes, he took Everton into European football, and yes, he was in the Champions League with Man United, but, pardon me, he got knocked out in Champions League with Man United. He got knocked out of European football with Everton. So it's sort of a learning curve for the manager as well as a little bit. But I would also argue that since his days of Everton, the demands, if you like, of a professional footballer is probably greater today than it was over 10 years ago when he was at Goodison Park. So I think he's got to adapt a little bit, and I'm confident he will. Like I said, he's not been playing players week in, week out in both competitions. One or two he has. Declan Rice has played a vast amount of minutes. Antonio probably played Thursday and Sunday, and in an ideal world wouldn't have done that. But then this is the repercussion, isn't it? This is the repercussion of not signing a striker in the transfer window. And I think if we can learn from this European venture, so for the next set of fixtures between this international break and next international break, when we've got more European football thrown in, that perhaps we use this squad a little bit wiser than what we have so far. And that's part of the reason I accepted a defeat against Brentford, if you want, hoping that we see a better West Ham, a wiser West Ham, because it's not just the fitness level. I don't think it's just the accumulation of minutes that these players have played. I think there's other factors that come into play there, simple as the tempo. I think there's a massive difference between the style of football in European football and the Premier League, and I think we've adapted from Premier League to European football very well. Clearly, 2 wins, 2 games, 2 wins, 2 clean sheets, top of the league. We've done it. It's a lot more possession based, a lot slower pace as well. I think it actually suits us. I actually wondered how we'd get on in European football, because I thought maybe the tempo was a bit too slow for us, because we like the counter-attack and we like to play counter-attack football. We're effective at it. But when we're given the ball and it's like, go make something happen, I think sometimes we struggle. And we did that against Brentford. And in European football, I was a bit worried that was going to happen again, that we were going to struggle to create things a little bit. But I've been pleasantly surprised so far. But I think we handle that style of football really well, actually. The referees are obviously a little bit different in European football too. Away in Zagreb, I thought that was a learning curve for us, because quite often in the first half, likes of Lanzini and Benrahma went down looking for free kicks, and the referee just told them to get up again. Zagreb, I thought, were a bit more used to the refereeing, if you like. They didn't really make the same mistakes. But Vienna, on Thursday, I thought we were better. I thought we managed the referee a little bit better. But then there's the domino effect, isn't there? Can you then transition back from Thursday football to Sunday football in the Premier League? Because the tempo is higher, it's a lot more frantic, it's more physically demanding. And I think that's where the fitness comes in. It's not necessarily fitness in terms of can you run for 90 minutes. Sometimes I think mentality comes into play, but also the physical battle, if you like. And both games, Leeds and Brentford, we've started slow. We have started slow. Both sides, Leeds and Brentford, come out the traps house 100 mile an hour. And we couldn't really cope with it. We really struggled. And that was, I know Leeds wasn't directly after a European game and that, but I do feel like on Sunday I felt for the first time we were almost still playing Europa League football for the first 10-15 minutes when Brentford were playing the traditional Premier League football, if you want. And that was massive advantage to them. I just thought they were more suited. And then the referee thing came back into play. Now the referee was crap. There's no doubt about it. Peter Banks was awful in the Brentford game against West Ham. But I actually thought he was pretty poor for both teams for the first 15-20 minutes of the game. I thought he was just having a really bad game. I know people feel like he gave Brentford everything, and I think he did in the second half of the game. But I think it's because Brentford just wised up a little bit quicker than us. I think Brentford adapted to the way the referee ref the game and played it to their advantage, whereas I don't think we did. And that was disappointing, but again, perhaps a bit naive. I'm almost willing to put it down to just give them the benefit of the doubt and suggest it's a struggle from transitioning from the Europa League into the Premier League. I could be talking complete nonsense. I probably am. That's why I'm on a webcam in a bedroom chatting about West Ham. That's why I'm doing that. I'm not a football coach or anything like that. But that's how I feel anyway. I feel that the Europa League is having an impact on us. But the squad rotation is something I think we've got to get a little bit better at. We've got to get a little bit switched on, if you like. Soufal, for instance, we knew he had a knock. We knew he was at 100%. He played 90 minutes on Sunday against Brentford. Wasn't very good either. And I'm willing to say that performance was off the back of him being injured. But then why did he play 90 minutes? Further evidence has been awarded to us today, which is he's withdrawn from the Czech Republic squad. So Soufal will not be featuring for the Czech Republic in the international break. Arguably good news for West Ham, because it means he's now got a couple of weeks to recover. But obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, you look back to Sunday and think, well, why risk him? Bear in mind, we've got such a busy schedule. B, why did he play 90 minutes? And the reason I'm asking those two questions is because of Ben Johnson. I thought Ben Johnson was fantastic against Rapid Vienna. So it's not like Moyes didn't have an adequate replacement for Soufal. with the greatest of respect to Brentford, I think Brentford at home is probably a good fixture in order to play Ben Johnson in instead of Soufal in order to rest him. But again, this is something I'm hoping that we perhaps see a change of Moyes in. Am I expecting the change? Perhaps not, because he's a stubborn manager. It's been working for quite a bit. But I think Sunday, a lot of the things that was going against West Ham, if you like, whether it was lack of subs, Moyes sticking to formation A and only formation A, whether it's Soufal's injury, whether it's the tired legs of Thomas Tuchel, the new role of Declan Rice, if you like, I think there's a few contributing factors that came back to bite us on the arse essentially against Brentford, but not just against Brentford. I think we got off with it in a couple of games. I think Leeds United, we got off with it a little bit, and I just think Sunday it bit us on the bum, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, because it gives the manager now an opportunity to reevaluate, to reassess a couple of things, come up with a couple of different plans with the international break as well. And yes, he's missing 9 players at the moment. There's 9 players out on international duty at the minute, so he's missing half the team. But it doesn't mean you can't plan for things, and I'm hoping and expecting to see something different against Everton. Now, what that might be, I don't know. We're not playing badly this season. We're not playing superbly either. And like I said, European football, I think, is one contributing factor to that, but it's not the only factor. But I do think it's part of the reason, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with losing games because of Europa League football. Because Europa League football, it's something I've always been dreaming about as a West Ham fan. I've always wanted to see our team there. Now we're there. After years of sitting here saying I'm okay with us conceding points if it means playing European football, relegation status pending, before someone said, oh well, would you accept 19th if it means European football? I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't mind the occasional slip up because of European football. That's all I'm saying, and I'm alright with it. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to disappear. Hopefully my rambling makes some form of sense, because it's just a bit different to Gonzo's. Gonzo says he doesn't think it impacts the league form. I think it does to some extent. Not the only thing. We'll talk about the other thing tomorrow. Declan Rice, Thomas Tuchel. We're going to talk about them tomorrow, because I think that's another contributing factor to things not quite clicking at West Ham. Nothing to worry about, but just something that needs fixed.